So I'll cut right to the chase. I've been procrastinating on making a video since last year, late last year. Life kind of got to me and it just couldn't be made in the time that I wanted to. I've been working on two different things though. One project is a Wild Assault video. It would have been released on January had the update that they made not invalidate most of my script I've already written. So I have to rewrite the script and address the changes because they are significant enough to warrant a change in how I was talking about things in that game. The other video that I've been working on is an enigmatic legacy video. A video that talks about, well, the 1.20.1 mod that changes the progression of the game in a way that I really like. I actually really like the changes that this mod adds, and I want to talk about it in depth, much like my Binding of Isaac videos. But in order to get that, I need to get footage. I need to set a lot of time to play it and make a mod pack where it can play it where it's not completely insufferable to play. That being said, it is a lot of time taking, and I want to make sure that I put a good foot forward when making these videos. The current background footage is footage I recorded when making my Enigmatic Legacy video. So it's just me making a base. It's just something to put in the background while I talk a lot about what I have in mind to do. Since a lot of things and life is really catching up, I want to put something out there to keep anyone who's actually invested into these videos something to hold on to while I'm still working out in a flushed out directed project. So the first thing is the Wild Assault video. Now, again, Wild Assault is a niche game. On site, it's just a small game held by a small team with a small group of players who play it. And do I see it really going anywhere? No, but it is a game that I enjoy a lot and I want to talk about it. So when it comes to that, I think it's best if I just make a video dedicating my overview of the game at the time written. Because, of course, things are subject to change. What I may not like before may not be the same as it is now. And from that, that's why my Wild Assault video had to be postponed. As much as I would have loved to release everything and just say, hey, it's been out of date or this thing has been changed, I didn't want to do that with the amount of changes that were changed. So I'll have to get to that. I can't go into detail right now because for Wild Assault to make any sense, I'd have to go over the whole game. And that is going to take a very long time. Time that I think I can make if I'm just motivated, but that is not the primary goal I want to be working on right now. In fact, it is the Enigmatic Legacy video, and I'll get to that right now. Now, to make Enigmatic Legacy make sense, we have to talk about how modpacks work. Modpacks are a collection of mods that work together to create a unique Minecraft experience. I think anyone can just slap a bunch of mods together, but it takes a lot of talent to balance these mods together. And a large majority of mod packs out there follow within like three trees. Vanilla Plus, which are mod packs that entirely enhance the vanilla experience. They don't throw in too many changes, but they throw in quality of life, graphical increases, and maybe just some new blocks here and there. It tries to keep the prime gameplay loop of Minecraft intact without causing major discrepancies or major changes that throw people off. Then there are all-encompassing mod packs. All-encompassing mod packs are quite the opposite. They make major changes, major world changes, mob changes, new bosses, new weapons, new armor, new tools, new RPG mechanics. Anything you could possibly think of will be shoved into this mod pack, and it would have to be tuned and changed to create a specific type of experience. And these really only benefit players who want to take a bite at it. These are a lot harder to get people into, as each game or each mod pack has its own style. For example, The Rad mod pack, which is the first mod pack I've ever played, is all about dungeon crawl, loot based, and super late game progression. There are many dimensions, many weapons, many armor, many different tools at your disposal, and a general good sense of exploration is made. Almost everywhere you go in this mod pack, there's something to do, something to fight, and there is a goal where the game tells you, hey, follow this tree to do stuff. And that is all because it's all curated and balanced. But playing Rad is not the same as playing all of the mods, 7, 6, 8, or any of the other iterations of this pack. These mods have their own different balancing and quest give that's designed by somebody else with a whole different purpose. All of the mods is balanced around having all of the mods. You have to do each aspect of every part of mod to create one big final end game piece of armor and tools and weaponry that'll get you that the whole mod pack quest lines gravitate around. And then there's the custom packs, which would be the third category. This category generally falls around players who just want a more tuned experience and little throw-in changes. What happens if I make every mob only spawn zombies and make it a zombie apocalypse theme? Or if I add buildings and like guns with real weight and animation and actual, try to make this balance or try to make it feel immersive? Well, you get stuff like Deceased Craft or Cursed Walking, where they go out of their way to make like a decrepit, abandoned, lost land that you need to fight for survival. Adding mechanics like thirst, energy, bleeding, patching up, and all sorts of other types of mechanics and weapon available for you, and a different type of style. And I think that these are all great ways for mod packs to show some character and show the works that someone's willing to put in. Obviously, I don't have too much knowledge on mod packs, each one, because there's so many and they all play differently and all have different rules. But what I want to talk about is the effect of Enigmatic Legacy and what it does for me. My mod packs generally gravitate around combat, base building, and the ability to grind, but the most important thing that any of my mod pack creations are is a sense of progression and speed of progression. This is a big problem that I've met in other mod packs where they create an armor set or weapons that are just completely out of the meta. For example, as a personal anecdote, I had a mod pack that I had used a iteration of another mod pack called Deceased Craft, and we decided to add some stuff into to spice it up. Obviously, since it was a 1.20 mod, I added Enigmatic Legacy. However, I gave the reins for someone else to add mods, and one of the mods they had asked me to put in was a Halo mod. Now, this Halo mod is called Halo MDE, at least in the code files. I don't remember the actual game. Maybe that's just what it's called. It adds all sorts of Halo-based NPC, Marines, Covenant, Custodians, and other factions, and they're all extremely hostile. Now, initially, we have TAC Z, Timeless, and Zero. They have a lot of good guns and a lot of add-ons that are very customizable. As you can see in this pack, I'm using it to use pixel gun weapons and armor. Well, mostly weapons. And I like this mod, so I figured the guns that we'd create and craft would be more effective than anything that this mod could have. And it's not true. Once we added the Halo mod, it adds all sorts of new ores and weapons that completely outclassed anything in this pack. Why bother going for netherite armor when you can just mine a block and get a bunch of nether ingots And these ingots can be crafted into Covenant armor, which gives you a shield plus diamond or netherite armor levels of power. They were relatively easy to get because after one night session, he was able to give me a full armor set and then get an even better one called the Forerunner set. And it was from this, I didn't even want to play on the server anymore. At this point, what's the point? It was unfun to play after that point, and now, even as we speak, they're adding a Calamity mod to it. As in Terraria Calamity mod. And at that point, I'm stepping out of that. The progression jumped from... We went from struggling to fight basic mobs because we constantly get aggroed, and the amount of zombies was relentless, to just walking around tanking hits like crazy and shaving off effects that these zombies would affect on us without any trouble. And I did not like that. The base building wasn't even matter because there was just not... We spent most of our time going nomadically, running around trying to get resources and get things done. So generally it was just an unfun experience, and that was primarily because of Halo's armor. The Halo MDE armor that kicked in and caused problems. I do my best to avoid these problems by making mod packs that have proper progression. Enigmatic Legacy isn't just a mod that adds armor and tools. It is a mod that adds perks, items, things you need to work for. And one of those things you need to work for is the Heart of the Earth. It is an item that you can only find within chests or in small little shards around from killing mobs using the Enigmatic Add-ons mod, which I highly recommend because it is a very solid mod. These all add up to being able to craft perks, but even then, these perks are not so game-breaking that you can just freely play the game and not mind it. Not mind the progression. You still have to work for it, you still have to set up a base, you still have to do things that affect the world around you. And one of the things that you have to do at the beginning to use every item in this mod pack is to pick hard mode. You get access to the Ring of Seven Curses. By equipping it, it sticks with you permanently and adds 7 mutators. Number 1 is that you take double damage. You deal half damage to all hostile mobs. Your armor is 30% less effective, which effectively means it doesn't protect you as much, but more importantly, it breaks faster. If you get set on fire, you have to douse yourself out with water, making the nether extremely lethal. And most importantly, all neutral mobs hate you. They want you dead on sight. Another thing this also adds is insomnia. You cannot skip nights. You have to sit through every night, meaning phantoms will spawn effectively every day. Because of all these hard difficulty, even if you did manage to find a good armor set, it will still barely be as effective as iron. And this is to prevent from severe power creep, just walking around tanking hits like crazy, which is a big problem I've run into mod packs, where the early game mobs start becoming are just a joke. And I understand that Minecraft's philosophy is around the building aspect, but I love the more dungeon crawl, exploration base, and going out of your way to find things. So when I have to constantly just shave off stuff and invalidate most of the interactions around, it sucks the fun out of things. I like to fight for what I need to get. If I want to get nether stars or wither skulls, I have to go in the nether and kill withers. I don't like finding shortcuts. I don't like getting all these extremely easily. I want to work for it. And a lot of these mod packs generally have it so where it's painfully easy to just bypass the difficulty. And that's why I like Enigmatic Legacy, because no matter how far you're into a game, especially if you have looter, you can always get these persistent perks that aren't the huge game changers until the very end of the game when you have access to the end. Why go through all of this? Minecraft is supposed to be an easy build game. Why am I wasting all my time dying, fighting for my stuff back, if I could just play normal Minecraft? The reason I enjoy the more roguelike and progression setup is because I want to feel like I'm getting stronger. I want to feel like I'm getting better. I want to make things easier from base Minecraft to late Minecraft. This Tag Z is a prime example of this. You can start off by making an average gun, M1911, a shotgun. It's slow. They take a lot of shots to defeat mobs, and they're very encumbering to use. But when you put the work in to craft ammo boxes that can hold infinite ammo, when you can craft stronger weapons by going out of your way to get the resources for it, when you follow a plan and go through it with it, and you have to put yourself at risk, like going into the nether or harvesting a large amount of ores and resources, I think it's great to have that path to do that and have the mod pack that all these mods are playing together to facilitate a natural way of getting good. Like I said earlier, you can craft an ammo pack with infinite ammo. Now, you can take the cheap way and craft an ammo box and then surround it with emeralds, and you can craft one ammo type that's infinite for all guns that are compatible and put it in my curio slot. Or you can go out and get 72 emeralds and craft the ammo box into it with emerald blocks. It takes a long time. You can't just find that many emeralds early on, so you have to create infrastructure. That is why in this pack I end up creating a farm where I can trade with farming villagers. I almost never use farming villagers, but it is a safe, consistent way to gather resources that isn't just making an infinite, ongoing sugarcane farm. And I'm actually having fun doing this. So that's the main takeaway that I get from this mod pack, is that it is a nice, humble game until I need to go out and get resources. In my cave complex, it's relatively safe. But once I step out of this crater, I'm at mercy of having to watch myself from dying, because if I die, I lose a piece of my soul, my max HP. And considering what I just told you in the previous segment, that dying is very easy, if I'm not careful, I'll end up getting to a point where it's very hard to recover. And I need to be careful. I need to plan things out. I need to work towards it. And I think Enigmatic Legacy pulls that for me. Another thing I'd like to reiterate is that there is nothing wrong with a humble pack. You don't need a pack where there are 40 different dimensions to go through, mobs that can destroy the earth and destroy everything, because base Minecraft is already interesting. Sure, speedrunners and players who optimize the fun out of Minecraft can end up making it boring, but for most players, they're not really playing a super hard game. And nobody plays Minecraft expecting a super hard game. Minecraft is a game that is entirely up to you, how hard you want to make it. And I think that creating mod packs that cater around this idea is far more effective strategy of getting the most out of it than trying to optimize the fun out of it. Why go out of your way of making easy netherite if you can just play the game normally and get those resources? Netherite is a limited resource that only a certain amount exists in any world. Even if you can get a lot of it at once, it requires a lot of dedication. It's also a part of balancing. You don't want players to run around with extreme excess, because extreme excess ends up being boring. That's why players who have farms for mobs, farms for materials, end up being boring, unless that is their whole goal, is just to make the farm and get those resources. But once they do, it starts staling out. That's why whenever I come to playing Minecraft, I like to just play the game. If I need something, I'll just get enough of it, and then that'll be it. There are other players who will make farms or long ways of sustaining it, or automatic. I'm not a fan of automatic. I like to do things on my own, which is how a large majority of my builds and my storage and my resource gathering works. I always keep myself busy doing smaller tasks. Even though I am fully capable of making farms, it's not my forte to do so. And that's why I like to make smaller packs. I don't like to introduce a lot of crazy stuff because it devalues the base fun of Minecraft. And if you devalue the base fun of Minecraft, then you start falling out of a pack faster, even though it technically has triple, quadruple, sextuple the amount of content original base Minecraft can provide. Another thing that's difficult about mod packs, especially when playing with friends, is the community aspect. I don't like to run Minecraft worlds where I'm completely set up and flooring everything around me cleanly. I don't like to do that. I like to work with my teammates. If I'm good at something, they should be good at something, and we should work together. Which is why I like hub bases, where I like working together to get what we need done. One of the things I like to do is spelunking. I love going down caves, trying to find the best ways to find all sorts of material, and then coming back completely just hanging with all sorts of resources. Whereas my teammates on the surface are either building a base that we're going to divide our attention to, or making other farms that we could use, whether it be villager farms or normal plant farms. I think having everyone do a specific task is also a great way to keep each other in check. This also makes it so that people aren't progressing like crazy to get past and one over each other when you see each other. I think one of the biggest things that gets people off from playing Minecraft is finding that one player who's been to the end, has an elytra, has enchanted diamond and armor, and they're quite literally making it netherite in front of your face. They have weapons that can kill you 4 times over, and you can't even do anything about it. Like, it sucks. So that's why I play with these packs that push that type of gameplay style. And I like to play with other people. So keeping a mod pack on the low end, or adding a little changes here and there, is beneficial to the player as well as everyone else. This makes it so that it's very easy to digest and get started. I think the little things in Minecraft are worth talking about, whether it be a small base or a small project that you're able to get done. Whether it be crafting a small weapon or a unique charm that can make something easier, or just a chaotic tool that you can share with your friends. I had run a loopy SMP, a mod pack I ran, which initially started with a few mods and slowly got more advanced the more we played. It was a very fun pack that we had spent a lot of time in, and we didn't have too crazy bases. But then we had build projects like making a battle arena, a rail system to go from one point to another, even though we knew that we had abilities that were faster. And that is because we had balanced the mod pack around the simple things. Sure, you can create weapons that can grapple and make you temporarily jump around further, but you still had to go from point A to point B. I don't have waystones installed just to avoid things like that, because the game quickly goes from, hey, I'm gonna come and visit, and it takes like 5 minutes, to, hey, I'm coming over, and then boom, you click one button and you go there. You don't even have to hike. You can go in there anytime you'd like, and I don't like that. I like for there to be work. If you want an easier way to come to your base, then you have to make one. If I want to go to a village and it's hidden behind a mountain, I'll carve right through the mountain, because guess what? That's what Minecraft says you can do. Or, hell, you don't even have to do that. You can just dig an underground tunnel or go around the mountain. It's really up to you, to your preference, and that's why I like playing with base Minecraft. I don't like adding too much stuff, because when you add complexity and a lot of choices, it makes you more likely to not make a choice and just stop playing, because it gets overwhelming. And this is a very common feature for new players. If you can barely handle Minecraft and all of its normal options, then it'll be hard to get into a mod pack that has even more items to work with and more balances. And how does this all link back to Enigmatic Legacy? Well, Enigmatic Legacy doesn't change the core base of the game. You still have to mine, you still have to get resource, you still have to fight mobs. But all the items just make things easier. Like an item that allows you to teleport back to your bed. A shield that is effectively unbreakable and gives you a lot of risk and reward for using it. Charms and spellstones that can negate certain aspects of the world to give you some boost while also having downsides. And these are all things that Enigmatic Legacy allows you to choose and pick from. You don't have to already be dealing with a world that has overpowered items just sitting in a chest. You have to work for some of these. And the work that you do put in pays off, because you either get stronger weapons or abilities to interact with the world in ways you would never guess. And that's why I like Enigmatic Legacy, because there's a lot more work to get good stuff. And I feel like it's very fair for any player to play, especially if you never tried it before, which is what my Enigmatic Legacy video is going to be all about. Trying something new that's still tied down to Minecraft in a very grabbable way. I just wanted to show off this mod in a general sense before I make a full video going in depth what every item can do and how each item interacts and how to craft each one. So far, most of my clips are me dying because of the extra difficulty, trying to figure out ways to handle mobs, what farms and methods I'm using to try to get a foot in an advantage, because you're constantly playing at a disadvantage with this pack. You take more damage, you can't stay in fights, mobs that generally are annoying are even more annoying, and everything's tankier and you need a leg up, which is why I opted in to play with TaxZ. TaxZ definitely does have some overpowered weapons. You definitely can just create some very powerful weapons, but with a lot of balance, TaxZ, while you can make strong weapons, it takes some time. And I take my time with these sort of things. I don't like crafting broken stuff or spending long eons getting something that could just be accomplished by any other weapon. You know, like, for example, Pixel Gun has its own set of weapons, and all you really need are emeralds, or at maximum, like, one variant of a gun and put gold on it, you know? Whereas other weapons within the pack, they are like these giant collages of weapons that are super powerful. And again, you still have to play Minecraft. You still have to follow the basic rules, and they all have a balance to it. So when it comes to the full video, I want to express how each item influences one another. So for now, just enjoy the rest of this background music while I continue to just let music play. Please let me know of anything else that you would feel like would help improve my videos. Please let me know how this video is, how it's structured, if there's any improvements I can make for anyone out there. And maybe one day I'll open this as an SMP for other folks to join and play around in. I definitely would like to have more folks be more into a community version of this pack. I did it. I just realized, why the hell do I need pumpkins when fucking golems aggro me on site? Get away from me.
I have escape artist, so I guess that means that I have a better chance of escaping battles.
Bro, that Enderman, bro, it fucking tailed me all the way from the bottom of the mountain all the way to me. That was such bullshit. I should really craft armor, but I'm not gonna lie, even if I craft a full set of iron armor, it's still gonna be way too weak. I never really realized how much downtime I actually put in Minecraft servers until like I actually sit down and start doing stuff. Oh fuck, then I just started.
That what Louise planned on doing? Because does he actually like know about Dracadios or?
Bro, night is taking forever to skip. I guess I'll just go on a mining trip until it's finished.
Give me a good moment. This will be a while.